Hi, this is MTB214. Thanks for stopping by the channel. More H.P. Lovecraft Cthulhu Mythos Tales horror stories for Halloween. So I just read this over like 2 or 3 nights. It's another story, and this sort of relates to it, as you will shortly hear about. So the name of the story is The Horror in the Museum. So it says, with Hazel held which I was told that H.P. Lovecraft like rewrote her stories. Thank you for saying that. Someone said that in a comment. I didn't understand what that was about, but it's interesting that he sort of took someone else's story and added to it, made it his own. I wonder what hers was exactly. So it's not that long. This story is from page 458 to page 482. So 15, 16, 28. So a little over 20 pages. Definitely a cool story. So the kind of museum is a wax museum. So there's like Mary Tussauds. Is that how you pronounce the name? Let me just double check. I don't want to get that wrong. But it was, wow. I'm pretty sure like Mary Tussauds was the person that Madame Tussauds is where there's a wax museum. There's actually more than one. There's in New York City, Nevada, and Florida. There might be more now, but this takes place about like 100 years ago. So there might not have been all of them back then, probably just the New York one. So there's an artist there, sculptor, works with the wax, that he's really dark and like makes some really scary stuff. So like some people like criticize him for that. So like he gets I don't know if he quits or gets fired, doesn't really say, but then he comes to have his own wax museum that's really scary. It's in the basement of a building, and he has all sort of things, and even has a section like, adults only, because it's really like scary things in there. And one patron of the arts goes in and like befriends him, asks him about that, and like, over time they get to be friends. And he like, listens to the artist stories, and the artist says some wild, crazy stories about like seeing all this stuff and like going different places around the world. And the art connoisseur just like takes it as a grain of salt. It's like, oh, like, yeah, he's just making up stories. He's a little crazy, but I'm just gonna like listen to him and make him happy. But he doesn't take it seriously, as well as who also doesn't take it seriously is the artist assistant. It's like, oh, like, it's just the bunk. It's not real. But he goes to make all these like wild different kind of monsters and different creatures and stuff. That's why I have these two here. And this builds on with like the Cthulhu, that a lot of the stories have like, it's world building, like, Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit happen on Middle Earth. He has his own like alternate world with this occult and different things, and different towns relate. So it's in England that he is at, like the art museum, like wax museum is at, and has all this horror stuff. And so he like, he doesn't really believe him. And then the artist challenges his friend. Oh, okay, like, if you don't believe me, stay overnight here, and like, you don't believe what I'm saying with the truth, come and like, see for yourself. So the friend goes to do that one night, and like, was locked in, left there overnight, is scared that like something's happening, that there's like a padlock room in there, and like, he's hears something, and it's like, oh, like, what is this? And he's attacked during the middle of the night, and like, by some sort of creature. But so he fights off, he uses all his strength, he gets injured, the thing gets, what he thinks is a thing gets injured, and like his clothes gets ripped, and it's an awful fight. And then he goes to find out it's actually the artist wearing some costume, and like he's doing some sort of like occult ritual, and like has this like alien sort of god like Cthulhu. That's why I have this here, because it's sort of like a squid-like or octopus-like sort of alien creature. And he goes, and then that thing falls down because it's a false god. So he goes to, like, oh, like, this isn't real. But then he actually was shown like a photo and other evidence of it. But then, like, it is something that's real. So it's like an alien creature, and they have a different name for it. But like Pluto was discovered around this time that was written. So it's like, that's the planet that like this thing comes from, and that, like, it's an old god, and that like people worship in the past, and like, he's saying all these things in different language, like conjure up this thing and wants to like feed it. He feeds it a dog, and like its tentacles, things like, drink its blood and stuff. Is crazy, craziness. He sort of describes it in a very like articulate, wordy way, and like he doesn't really put that much detail in some things. You have to like imagine it yourself. But it's then like, he fights off this thing, and it turns out it's the artist, and he gets the artist, has him tied up, and to like, he thinks that the artist may kill him because, like, really went off his rocker crazy. So he has him tied up, and then he's like, saying some weird language, like calling Cthulhu, and then there's like the creature comes from like the door to go into that room to get him, and then the former friend now, is so scared he runs out of there, like, he jumps like 3 steps at a time up the basement steps, getting out of there and going home. And like, it's about a month-ish that like he doesn't, like, he saw doctors and all, like, about his nerves and different things. And it's about a month later that he goes back, and the artist isn't there, but his assistant is there, and said, oh, like, he's away on business, like, I'm in charge for the minute. And then like he goes to show him the new exhibit of this creature, and it's like the Cthulhu beast thing with the remains of a man that, like, he ate, was sacrificed to him, and that actually is like a sculpture of the artist, even with like a gash cut along his face that happened in the fight. So he's like, okay, like, this is like real, like, the artist conjured up this evil entity, and then this entity got him. So there's sort of a warning in life, like, don't delve into dark things in life. And like, sometimes if you want to, like, you mean to hurt somebody, you're gonna go and it's gonna backfire and gonna cause you problems. So like, it's not good to do. But it's definitely an interesting story, and I started another one. There's a lot of stories. I'm almost finished with the book. There's some movie versions of this, and even there's like hints of things relating to this in other movies as well. Definitely cool to see this. I got this at Target a while back. I'm not sure if they still have it, but you can find this stuff online for free as well. Well, thanks for watching. Subscribe, comment, like, share. Stay tuned for figure reviews, storybook reviews, movie reviews, Halloween stuff, and coming up Christmas and other holiday things. Take care. Good night.